Hello, welcome. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these. 2 weeks, actually. A little bit over 2 weeks since I've had a Galaxy High review. Rest assured, I've been working hard. I've been under the weather recently, as you probably tell by my voice. It's still kind of coming back to me, but on the mend, ready to go. Back full swing for you guys here at the channel. Galaxy High, Episode 5, Those Eyes, Those Lips. Roll the footage.
CBS
Saturday. Stay tuned for Galaxy High. Saturday.
This is CBS.
Episode 5, Those Eyes, Those Lips, written by Karen Wilson and Chris Webber. Not the Chris Webber that used to play in the NBA and, went to University of Michigan and famously called the timeout when Michigan didn't have any against Duke in the national championship. Not that Chris Webber. Gilda Gossip runs in the middle of girls' gym class and announces that Mick Maggers is coming to do a concert at Galaxy High. And Maggers is supposed to be an obvious surrogate for, of course, Mick Jagger, which is a cool point of influence from the writer onto the show. It shows that different decades of culture influences how they influence the media and entertainment. But anyway, this news excites the girls in Miss Centaur's gym class, and their human alien hybrid pyramid takes a tumble and they come crashing down. But one of our main cast is way more excited than anyone else. That, of course, is Booey Bubblehead. She is a self-proclaimed biggest fan of Mick Maggers, and she goes to great lengths in this episode to prove that fact. Booey has received a handwritten letter from Maggers to her, saying that he wants to meet her when he comes to town. And upon reading this, you'd think that Amy, being from Earth, would have an insight to what Mick's intentions actually were, especially given this was released during the apex of 80s hair bands where Motley Crue had girls, 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 and so on and so forth. But it's a children's show, and that would have been a little too on the nose as far as groupies are concerned. So we're left in the suspension of disbelief that this huge mega rock star only has eyes for Booey Bubblehead, as well as good intentions.
Are you serious?
So the girls are off on a mad dash to the ticket window along with a typical 80s television type crowd montage. It runs through Professor Eisenstein's lecture, knocks over an experiment that they were performing, leading to our main characters getting slimed, and 80s hilarity ensues. When they get to the ticket window, Booey jumps over the whole line, gets all the way to the front by literally jumping on people's heads, and aliens' heads, I want to be inclusive, and then finds out that there are no tickets left. This leaves Booey despondent, as she's supposed to have her rendezvous with Mick when he arrives for the concert. But wouldn't his chosen one have tickets provided to her personally if she was indeed his muse? Or one would think so, but I'm probably reading too much into this situation yet again. Amy and the gang are willing to help Booey to see Mick, as they hate seeing their friend in such a state of despair, so Milo offers to use his six-armed white privilege to buy pizza for everyone at Luigi's Lunar Pizzeria. So we all head over there for some lunar pie.
The Rock loves pie. Big pie, little pie.
So Luigi's joint is jumping as usual, and this scene also marks our first appearance of Doyle this episode, as he serves up pizza topped with tog powder to some rather peculiar looking customers, which creates a pizza monster in the oven. Then Beef promises to take Wendy to the Maggers concert, but Roland and Earl ask him how he's going to do that without tickets, and he says that he'll make some friends. All the while, Amy and the gang are trying to figure out how to score tickets for Booey. We see exactly how Beef and the Bonk Bunch are going to attain their tickets by strong-arming a shady-looking celery man into giving them security jobs at the Maggers show, and they're to report to the landing pad as his ship is set to arrive at the spaceport, which is ironically where Amy and the gang are headed in an attempt to get Bowie's letters of adoration to Mick himself. At the spaceport, Creep tries to get through security to Maggers to relay Bowie's message, but Beef intercepts him, and as Amy comes to Creep's defense, we notice that Booey is stowed away on the bottom of a cart being pushed onto Maggers' ship, because the celery guy already told the crowd that Maggers had departed the spaceport and went to his hotel at this point. Inside the ship, as Booey stows away, she sees a shady celery guy and his two robot porters moving luggage, and she overhears them say Mick is staying at the Galaxy Grand Hotel, and she needs to tell Amy that they need to get over there. But runs into a curious fellow who just happens to be hanging out in the cargo bay of the ship, and his name is James, and he says he's a friend of Mick's. This would be the point where cynical me thinks that this is a roadie who's going to try to bang a groupie. But in this case, I have to say that it's Maggers in disguise, somehow testing Booey to see if she's seriously his biggest fan, which she absolutely is. So this is kind of a cruel ploy on his part, but it's supposed to be endearing to show him as a person and not as a mega rock star or something. Booey laments that she'll not be able to convey her message to Mick that she's his friend, and so on and so on. James says he'll help, but then Booey gets swept away by the conveyor because remember, she's Booey Bubblehead. Amy and the group show up just to make the save, and they hear on television that there are still tickets available for the show. They all pile into a phone booth together in an attempt to call Crazy Dave, but before they do, someone else wins the tickets. Anyone else find it odd that there's still payphone booths in outer space? Flat Freddy Fender, voiced exactly like Bart Simpson by Nancy Cartwright, shows up and says that rumor has it Maggers is going to his hotel, but nobody knows where it is. And Booey tells everyone that she's a creepy stalker and knows exactly where it is, and the next thing you know, they're all outside of his room. Problem is, Roland of the Bonk Bunch is guarding the door. So they decide to commit a federal offense, a felony, and mail Flat Freddy inside of Mick's room to deliver her letters. I don't know how many felonies they were planning on committing today, but they're adding up quickly. As Amy and the gang talk to Freddy via walkie-talkie, he has to hide when Beef and the gang enter, but Roland spots a hovering taxi outside holding our Maggers fans, and Beef sabotages it, which sends it crashing into a department store, so we can add attempted murder to Beef's rap sheet now as well. Attempted entry whilst donning disguise is thwarted by Beef and the Bonk Bunch security gang, much to the dismay of Booey, who is completely distraught at the thought of not meeting Mick Maggers after going through all of this trouble. As Booey leaves the group to suffer alone and in silence, Principal McBrain enters with a concert ticket for Amy being awarded on behalf of Maggers due to the fact that Amy has the highest grades in the whole school and the ticket was an incentive. So the gang rushes off to try to find Booey to give her this prize ticket. Booey runs into James, who is just about to give her a ticket when Amy and the gang are running up and yelling Mick Maggers, trying to convey the fact that they had indeed attained a ticket to the concert, but James killed kayfabe and ran away thinking they'd figured out that he was Mick, and Amy, Milo, and Gilda and Creep run up to present Booey with the ticket, and she's absolutely elated at this point. Outside of the venue, Booey is expressing her gratitude to the group for the ticket, and the Tog monster that's been carrying Wendy around with Doyle and Chase the entire episode accidentally snags Booey's ticket, and here we get our chase sequence in true 80s fashion. So after cornering the cantankerous Tog monster, James shows up to broker a peace deal with the creature and gets Booey's ticket back and tells her that all of her friends can go to the concert with her under one condition, that she goes to the show with him as his guest, and she happily agrees. At this point, Beef tries to kick them out, but James gives them all tickets and they head into the show, and of course Beef is left looking like an idiot once again because, well, that's his character and he kind of deserves it. At the concert, Booey is professing her feelings to James when a spotlight hits James and her in the crowd, and James reveals that he is none other than Mick Maggers himself. And Booey and the gang accompany James, or should I say Mick Maggers, up on stage while Mick performs a song that he's seemingly written just for Booey, just for this occasion, and that's where we leave episode 5 of Galaxy High School. Those eyes, those lips. That does it for this edition of I Love the 80s right here with Itepokuin and the Place to Be Reviews. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe. We have been going through a thing. We've been dropping subscribers. I know YouTube is messing with us right now. Please make sure you're still subscribe to the channel. If you are so kind as to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm Itepokuin of the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of you. And remember, if I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the next one.